What I want to talk to you about,
Sure, I guess.
a product of the abject failure of the American education system,
Oh,
colon,
jeez.
a fun trivia game. So I'm going to give you 5 chances to get any question right. If you get one right, compliment.
So if I only need to get
Stakes are very.
one, right?
That's right. That's
Okay.
right.
Okay. All right.
Stake. What is the name of the online database and web app builder formerly known as App Now Go?
Um, pass.
Number 2, what was the first Flemish news magazine in the country of Belgium?
Uh, I don't know.
I feel like these are easy. You sure you're gonna pass on this one too?
Yeah. Why would I know anything about Flemish news things? What?
Okay, we'll go to American pop culture.
Okay.
Question number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Season 1, episode 9 of Dilbert, the TV show, is titled this.
Okay, first of all, I didn't know Dilbert had a TV show. I thought it was just the comic in the newspapers. Secondly, what? No, I don't know that.
I
Tony.
watched a couple episodes of that
Tony,
show.
it's looking like you're gonna
You've
get
got 2 more
compliment
chances.
here. All right, 2 more.
You can
Okay.
do this.
All
You
right.
can do this.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Question number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the American rock band that rose to fame with their first single, My Sharona?
The Knack.
It is the Knack. And spoilers, the answer to every single question was Knack.
Oh my God, you're the worst.
We're the best, but that means I have to give you a compliment. Oh
Yes,
my
you do.
gosh. Okay, here we go. It's gonna come from the depths of my soul. Here we go.
Great.
You are good at trivia.
Oh, thank you. That's the first time I've ever
Compliment
heard that.
given.
That's a great compliment. I'll take it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks.
Now that we know how intelligent you are, how about what's your name? How about that?
Hi, I'm Lauren, aka Caustic Sofa. And who are you?
I am Tony, aka Paradox.
And we're the two platform beat 'em up gamers. And today, oh, I can't talk. Today, we're trying to get one trophy in, as you may have guessed, Knack.
Knack is one of the February 2018 PS Plus free downloads for the PlayStation 4. We play all of the PS4, PS Plus free games week by week because we don't want you suffering through a never-ending gaming backlog anymore.
Now, if you're expecting professional critiques by seasoned gaming journalists, you should probably leave now.
Later, skaters.
But if you're interested in amateurs with open minds diving into each month's PS Plus, stick with us as we play Knack. We'll tell you if this game needs to be moved to the front of your playlist or if it's best to quietly add it to your library for a rainy day.
Like every episode of Two Gamers, One Trophy, Lauren will be playing this game for the first time blind.
Well,
I have
not
done the
literally.
research in the game and given it a fair amount of playtime. That's true, not every episode, but most.
No, I meant I won't literally be blind.
I will be guiding you. Which element to the show?
You have now. So this episode is going to be what we call a targeted trophy challenge, and that means we are working towards a specific trophy goal. We can get others as we play the game, but our challenge is only complete when we pop the trophy Chieftain Badge. And that's a 72%, that's a common trophy, and 72% of the gamers who have played this game have earned it.
For those gamers playing along with us who have your goal, let us know in the comments if you beat Lauren in popping Chieftain Badge. And Lauren, you can count us down when you're ready to synchronize gameplay.
Alrighty, let's do it. Here we go.
Let's do it.
5, 4, 3, 2, press any button.
Ooh, you've done it. I would love it if a trophy popped and that was it. We were off the air.
So what I didn't realize was that
after
this game is forever huge. So I'm still downloading it, but we can play. We'll play. So do you think I should play easy, Tony?
Okay. When I did my playthrough, I played. The easy description is a difficulty setting for those who don't play games often. Do you think that matches?
Yeah, definitely. more cartoony than I was expecting. The doctor's laboratory.
This record was taken just 2 days ago in the Highland Crags. It seems the goblins there have progressed from being a minor nuisance to somehow being able to take down a highly fortified outpost. Thank you all for coming on such short notice. And Doctor, thank you for hosting this gathering. How did these goblins progress in such a short time from bows and arrows to tanks and guns? Where are they based? And how can we remove the threat they pose? We must immediately mount an expedition to discover whatever we can. Do we have any volunteers?
The Crags, huh? That's deep in Goblin country. I can get you all in. I'm less sure I can get you all out again.
Victor.
Victor Industries welcomes the opportunity to field test the latest model of our security robots.
While human strength is, of course, desirable, the expedition will need something far more powerful to take on those goblin weapons. The high-tech armaments of these robots should prove invaluable in accomplishing the mission. Any other volunteers?
So, remember last week when we were playing that game that had all the characters that looked like other...
Well then, it seems
characters
Ryder
from other
and Victor
properties?
will be our expeditionary force. Yes, Doctor?
Before any
Remember?
final decision is made,
Starblood
I would like
Arena,
to show
and
you
I was
all
saying
a
that
little
everyone-
something
Yes,
I've been
yes.
working on.
This, I feel like,
Come.
is the same. All these characters look like I've seen them in other things before.
Uncle!
Hey, how
Okay.
you been?
Good.
I mean,
Anybody
this guy,
popping out?
this guy,
I gotta go set up.
the
I'll see you
nerdy
later.
guy that walked in, Lucas
Hey.
was his name, I guess?
Yeah.
He looks
Yeah.
like the guy from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yeah, you're not. It's pretty accurate.
The blonde dude, the blonde, like, adventurer guy, I swear he looks
Yeah.
like,
Just go slow, little
I
buddy.
can't place him,
You'll be fine.
but he looks like someone. And then, I don't know, they just all look, they just have familiar looks on their face. I don't know.
No, I think that's right, and I want to jump immediately into critiquing, but here we go. In Starblood Arena, which is you're choosing an avatar, where if you have archetypes, characters you can instantly pinpoint as,
Yeah.
I know what this is. That makes a lot of sense. There's no plot. You're not going to ever get any plot.
Right.
You pick an archetype and you play it, and you play it. This is a game in which you're given cutscenes, plot, motivations for characters. Why are you giving us these super bland archetypes?
Yeah. I agree.
Give us fully fleshed out characters with arcs and complications. You're right. It's no excuse that it's a cartoony vibe. You can do something more in depth.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, like, even the nerdy guy who I was like, he looks like the guy with Cloudy from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. He's like the nerdy inventor dude, you know? Like they're the same character. They're the exact same character.
Yeah, well, let's see as you get a little bit more how much he plays into it.
Okay.
So you're now introduced to Knack, and you're going through the tutorial stage. So as you get a handle on this, I did want to bring up that we do have a fully voiced cast, and you will recognize some of the names. The blonde guy, Ryder. He is played by Travis Willingham, who you probably recognize from Infamous 2. He played the brother Reggie.
Okay.
He also played Ocelot in Metal Gear Solid 3. Those are the 2 games that we've played so far. He's mostly video game guy. Oh, I misspoke. He's Harvey Dent in Batman the Telltale series. Lucas is Ocelot in Metal Gear Solid 3.
Okay.
Lucas is played by one Joss Keaton.
So this is like a platformer type game, I assume. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
again, as Tony has mentioned, I'm playing this game blind. So I have no idea what this game is about. I have no idea how it's played or what anything is.
Again, that's what people come here for.
I know.
Come here for.
They come here to see me embarrass myself while playing these things.
That's why I come here.
I know it is.
The secrets of the relics and how to bring them to consciousness.
You know what they also come for? They come for the facts.
Is Knack, a living, thinking, breathing creature.
They come for the... Right.
So let me throw some at you. Knack was a PS4 launch title game. It was their first AAA title game. It was released by Sony, published by Sony, developed by SDI, which is the Japanese Sony Studios.
Okay.
This game was hyped and developed as a test title. Specifically, the character of Knack he has a lot of distinct parts to him. Each component of Knack is individually modeled, and to have that many discrete objects on screen at one time was a bit of a technical feat when the PlayStation 4 came out.
Okay.
So this was a bit of a
Knack,
showing off
pick up those relics.
title for them.
Huh.
Now I read that and I learned that and I believe that, but playing this, I would never have suggested that this was pushing any limits of hardware.
Yeah. I mean, even... Like, this looks like it could have been a launch title for PS3, where they were, like, trying to test it. Like, that's how, like, you know... I mean, not that it looks bad, it's just the graphics are, like, you know, they're not, like...
It feels like they've created a product while the way that they did it may be technically and mathematically taxing on the system. It feels like this could have been done to the same effect differently on a PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, I don't think that they were pushing the limits of the system by any stretch of the imagination.
So this is, even though we're now the second week into February, this is the first February exclusive game that we've played, so I think it's a good time to go over what else is available this month from PS Plus.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that.
We have this game, which I would suggest is the sort of the featured game for the month, but we also have Rhyme available for PlayStation 4, Grand Kingdom for PS Vita with crossplay for PS4.
Okay.
Titles we won't be covering but are also available this month for download with PS Plus includes Blunker HD, available for PlayStation 3, Mugen Souls Z for PlayStation 3, and Exile's End for PlayStation Vita. And finally, still available through March 6th, we still have the PlayStation VR game that we covered last week on this channel, Starblood Arena.
That one's available.
Once energized, he can release the power of the Sunstones explosively as a massive shockwave.
This game was released November 15th, 2013. That does make it a PS4 launch game. And while they expected it to sell very well, it did not. It only sold under 2 million worldwide, which was not a hit for them.
Shockwave to take out those robots' shields. As you can see, the shockwave can destroy multiple targets at once.
So you've been introduced to the two main elements. You have, a punch, jump, attack combo, and you have a power combo with the yellow crystals. You may get to see one more element of the game, but does not fundamentally change the combat. And I've played mid 7 chapters of this 15 chapter game, and combat elements do not change at all, which I think is unique in the scope of this game, that you are really going to experience the entirety of the game mechanics. So definitely feel free to judge this as a whole as you get through with what you're doing.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, at least they have the jump button in the right spot, is all I'm saying. Like...
So control feels standard. You're immediately getting into the jumping, punching, moving. Nothing feels out of whack.
Right.
Knack can also use the power of the Sunstones to transform himself into a storm of relics. Now, Knack, show them what what your storm attack can do to those enemies. As you have seen, Knack is able to use the energy
tornado.
contained within the Sunstones to augment his already formidable powers.
Yeah. I wonder if the game kind of glitched a little there and didn't spawn enemies until.
No, I think that was purposeful. It wanted you to like see what the thing did. Because the voiceover was like, look at what it does. Now show your enemies what it does.
The voice is the doctor, Dr. Vargas.
Okay, yeah.
And he's played by J.B. Blank. He's best known as a character actor, featured in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't watched it.
Everyone that I've mentioned has returned for Knack 2, which is a bit of a spoiler in that they did release a second game in the series.
Huge spoiler.
Well, the
Most
thing was with this
impressive,
game
Doctor.
is
You
that it
call
actually was
it
a bit of a
Knack,
meme that
is
they
that
were
right?
making a
Actually,
Knack 2.
I call myself Knack.
Oh yeah?
Impressive.
Because this game was not
He
very
seems a little
well received,
delicate.
and so everyone was,
When
why?
we go after the goblins,
I
we'll
see.
face challenges far deadlier than those slow-moving buckets of bolts.
What exactly are you getting at, Victor?
Well, I brought a few of my security robots with me. If Knack can get by those, then I'll grant he has a place in the expedition.
Can do. Let's take this to the garden.
Wait, Knack can
There's a
talk?
bit more room.
Surprise.
Yeah, that's awkward. I don't like it.
Not a fan?
No.
You think Knack can do it?
We'll see now, won't we?
Knack is played by Ike Amati, who does not have a very extensive IMDb history, but he is back for Knack 2.
I like the sound effects when you get more blocks.
Yeah, that's good Foley.
Yeah.
They break the chapters as 1-1, 1-2,
Using the
1-3.
power of the Sunstones, Knack can
I find that
also
interesting
blast
because
distant
it's
targets
almost,
with a barrage of relics.
I want to say a portmanteau, but of course we're not dealing with words in the situation, but typically you see level 1-1, 1-2, 1-3.
Right.
And you see chapter 1, act 1, chapter 1, act 2. For them to do a chapter 1-2, 1-3 feels odd. It feels like somebody didn't think that out.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Not a big bother for you.
I mean, no. But yeah, like a chapter wouldn't be 1 dash something. It would be chapter 1. Act
Right.
whatever. Yeah, I get what you're
And
saying.
here's the thing, I feel if your game is more about the story and the development of the character, you're more likely to put words like chapter and act.
Yeah.
And if it's more about a clever design or a clever gameplay with some story driving the gameplay, then I think you would typically choose something more like level. And here, they've designed it too in a way that I find to be awkward, and I
Yeah.
think that matches how I feel about the game. That it's an awkward
The
plot.
whole game is awkward.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm gonna read to you the PS description for Knack. I find it funny. I'm gonna read it as it comes from the site, okay?
Okay.
PS description, here we go. Important. End of connection service to the game app Knack's Quest. As of March 29th, 2018, the connection service to the game app Knack's Quest will end. Please read the following confirmation. The functions will no longer be able to use. Date and time of service termination, March 29th at 2 a.m. Functions will no longer be able to use. Receive item under the pause menu. You will still be able to play Knack on PlayStation 4.
Game is they didn't like leave the description and then just add that as like a notice.
It does go on. It does go on to say, mankind must turn to Knack, an unlikely hero, to protect them from a dangerous new threat. The unassuming Knack stands at a mere 2 feet tall, but thanks to the power of mysterious ancient relics, he can transform into a powerful brute or even a gigantic wrecking machine. Knack is mankind's only hope for turning the tide against the invading goblin army, but trying to harness the true power of the relics could threaten to put the whole world at risk.
I don't have any.
They call out detailed characters and environments, 90 minutes of stunning cutscenes, and features a unique character brought to life by the power of the PS4 system. It has 2-player local co-op, and old school meets next gen, collect relics to power up and smash your way through hordes of goblins, robots, tanks, and more.
It has local co-op? That's actually kind
It
of
does.
You don't see that often anymore.
You're right, you don't. And that is a feature that I didn't get to try out, but I did get to see some gameplay of it. And it's smooth. It is not one of those things where they increase the difficulty of the enemies or double the amount of enemies. It seems like it genuinely would help you play the game, particularly on the harder mode.
Yeah.
As the second character can come back to life without resetting, where you are in the game.
Right.
However, as far as cutscenes go, they just ignored the second character entirely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which, again, I think speaks to wanting to do a story and wanting to have good gameplay, and them doing the development on those two things separately. And then when they combined it together, they didn't fit.
Right.
So I will point out, because I don't want you to miss everything, some walls are breakable. And if you break the correct wall, you can find treasure chests.
Oh, poor Charlotte. Your
Sorry.
statue broke.
Dr. Vargas does very well for that. It is a rather large lab and enough resources to build an entire statue to his lost wife.
An entire statue.
Well, it costs money. That's good money.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, these people live better lives than I do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, than me. I don't know about you.
So, Victor, you
Oh,
still
boy.
think I'm too
I
dumb?
should have gotten a compliment when I had
Seems
the
the
chance.
doctor will
You
be
know, I
joining
was
us
reading
after
this
all.
story on
But you
Reddit
want him to
today
come.
about
And you want him to bring Knack.
I don't know what I was reading about. How people in Chicago don't leave their neighborhoods, and so they
What a
don't
wonderful
see,
demonstration, Doctor.
especially in the south
Yes.
and west sides of
Knack
Chicago,
must
which are
join
like
us
the,
in our
the poor
expedition.
parts of the city, and how they don't leave their parts of the city, so they don't see
wonder
what's
what
available
Charlotte
to
would've
them
thought
and
of
what
Knack if
kinds
she
of
were
things
still
are
around.
out there, and like
Come on,
whatever
Doc.
opportunities
Let's
they
go.
may have. And somebody was
Yeah.
talking about riding the bus with some young boys, and how they said like when they got to like this suburban area, the boys were like, wow, every yard has its own park, or every house has its own park, or whatever. Like, they had never seen yards. They didn't know what yards were. Like,
Wow.
it's
Hurry
kind of
up, lad, we
ridiculous
don't have all
to me.
day.
And, like, yeah, I guess
Hey, Doc.
if you didn't know that
Thanks for
was,
looking
like,
after my nephew. He's
if there was,
growing
like,
up so
this whole other
fast.
world out there,
Frankly, Ryder, it
you
was
know, how
easier
would you
when
know
he
what
was
to
younger.
aspire to, I guess.
Now
but
he wants
I
to
don't
know how and why and
Yeah.
debate everything. It's really quite trying
It's
at times.
interesting.
Yeah.
And I've
It sounds like you
heard
need a
recently
break. Why don't you let me take him for a few days?
in
Oh, he's all yours.
a This American Life
Lucas! It's just you and me
broadcast
again.
that talks about how that can affect people two ways. That it can affect you, and it can open up your eyes
Tracks
to
from those
the whole
goblin
of the
tanks
world
should
that you can
still
aspire
be
to.
visible.
Right.
But it can
Keep
also
a
completely
sharp
demoralize
lookout.
you because
Oh,
you
yeah,
can take it
'cause-
as
Right.
I'll never be given
I'll
these
never have.
opportunities.
Yeah, I'll never be able to get to that point in my life. Yeah.
Well, Knack, let the adventure begin. I can't
I
wait.
want to point out the Doctor also has his own private runway and plane.
Knack is like, I'm just gonna shed everything
dear.
and leave it here because
Wish us luck.
obviously this guy is well off enough that he can have some servants come and clean up my discarded pieces.
The gardener's like, am I supposed to clean this? What the hell? Yeah.
Starboard side! I can see the tanks!
That's the old crag mine. It's huge in there. Tunnels go on for miles. No telling what the goblins are up to. Let's land and take a closer look on foot.
They've barricaded the entrance quite thoroughly. We'll need to find another way in.
Splitting up should make that faster. Perhaps
Yes.
north,
Yeah.
east, and west through the forest.
We'll take the forest. Come on, Knack.
The robots remind me of Ratchet and Clank.
Yes,
Clank
I was thinking that.
specifically.
You know, they also are. They remind me a little bit of. Have you seen that Studio Ghibli movie, Castle in the Sky?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. They're a little bit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, the cartoony vibe of this is very
on
Ratchet
guard,
and Clank. It's very
Yeah.
Crash
Woods are full of
Bandicoot, and that
dangerous
makes sense because the developer of this game, Mark Cerny, he was a producer on Crash Bandicoot,
Okay.
and I think that they specifically sought him out, and they even advertised him in the promotional material.
Oh,
That I think that
okay.
they wanted to build kind of an old school cartoony franchise to bring in that younger generation to the new PlayStation.
Sure. That makes sense.
It was a bad move. I mean, that generation, weirdly enough, the gamers from the Crash Bandicoot days, they haven't left. So gaming tends to get more and more mature, and it doesn't seem to be bucking that trend anytime soon.
Right. Yeah. I mean, unless you're playing like on things like the PlayStation and the Xbox for sure. I feel like
Yes, I should caveat that to the major consoles. The
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch does buck much younger.
Yeah. I feel like that's more of like a family console. Like most Nintendo stuff is like, play this game with your siblings, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Do you think the design for Knack is cute,
Look,
or
There's an old structure
I don't
with some
really
relics
like
in it.
Knack's design. I don't.
Yeah.
He looks like he's just like, you know, those tangram things where you like
Yeah.
put the shapes together to make other shapes. That's what he looks like. He looks like he's made of those
Yeah.
parts, and it's not very appealing if you ask me.
Yeah, I have to draw parallels to Little Big Planet. I mean, Sackboy
Sure.
designed like a toy, and I think Knack is designed like a toy.
Yeah.
But little Sackboy is instantly endearing, and
Yeah. Well, I think
Knack-
part of it that threw me off is that his voice was like a man's voice when he was. I don't know if his voice changes when he's small, but when he spoke and he was big, I was like, I expected you to have like a childish voice because you were a toy.
yeah. As far as I can tell, no, he only has the adult man voice because one, he's not voiced by any other voice actors,
Right.
and two, in the 7 chapters I've played, he only speaks when he's large.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe he. Maybe
Which I
he's
guess
only
means he
capable of
only develops
speaking.
that power when he's large.
Yeah. Yeah. What I was just thinking.
So, platforming beat 'em ups. this sort of retro style. Does this immediately speak to your gaming interests, or this is not your typical bag?
Yeah, this is totally my jam. You know I'm a huge Ratchet and Clank fan.
Yeah.
This is like every game I play. I mean, not every game I play, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I felt like this was up your alley.
Yeah,
I enjoy these games too. I mean, you turned me on to the Ratchet and Clank series. I think that's why maybe I can be more critical with these things, because I want it to be really good, and I know they can be.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when you look at something like this, and then you look at, like, even the Ratchet and Clank games that came out on, like, the PS2 and the PS3, or whatever, they're much better looking than this game is. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
And that doesn't mean that this thing, like, maybe that's just, like, the style that I don't like of this game, like, the visual style, the art style, or, because I'm sure the graphics are perfectly adequate, like, I'm sure they're using, like, all of the, whatever. I'm sure it's not that they were just like, we don't have the resources to make a good visual game. Because obviously they did if it was meant to be, like, testing the capabilities of the PS4. Of course they would have, like, used every resource they had. It was developed by Sony, for Pete's sake. Like, of course they're going to do whatever they can.
And obviously the animation choices are very specific, but
well, yeah.
Even so, I feel there's a disconnect between the plot of this game and the art style.
Yeah.
Even the voice acting.
Yeah, like, the voice acting is, like, serious and, like, and the plot is, like, that there's ogres or whatever that are, like, destroying crap.
Goblin.
Goblins, yeah, sorry. Same diff.
But I see why you're saying ogres, because the design of these creatures looks like ogres and not goblins. At least the big ones, they look like ogres. It's odd.
Yeah.
You'll see they have, the larger one have tusks, and it's like, that's an ogre. Why? I don't know why you're calling this species goblin.
Yeah.
Or why didn't you invent another word?
Yeah, because goblins to me are they're different. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right, and that was actually a criticism that was brought up by people. Is that you punching the walls to find secrets?
What? No, I wasn't on purpose.
No.
Should I have been?
You can be. Some walls are breakable.
Yeah, I've noticed, like, you can see sometimes when... So tell me, Tony, a little bit about the trophies in this game.
No problem. I was going to wait to see if you got a trophy for a good transition, but you know what? That's a good one to go with. Let's do that. I get all of my trophies from psnprofiles.com.
Doctor,
It's a trophy
I found another
aggregator. They
entrance
pull
to the
information
mine.
from other
Good job,
gamers
Mac.
who
Hold on.
allow their
Almost
information
there.
to be shared, and it gives a percentage and rarity for all the trophies. So from that site, this game does have a platinum at 6.22% collection rate. It is very rare. 4 gold trophies, 9 silver, 28 bronze, for a total of 1,230 points.
They dug these tunnels.
Most guides tend to average the difficulty at receiving the platinum for this game at a 7 out of 10. And the reason for that is that you have to beat the game on the hard difficulty, and then additionally again on the very hard difficulty. And even then, you're going to have to do a little bit of farming of the treasure chest, because you need to collect a certain amount of relics, parts, gemstones, and It has a bit of an RNG element, so you can't guarantee what you're going to get. Now, the nice thing to try and offset that kind of treasure hunting is that not only do you play through the game hoping you get the items you need, but the app, the mobile app for your phone, Knack's Quest, which the PSN description so dutifully informed us was being shut down to gain some money. You could play what's essentially a Connect 3 puzzle game. You know, you just swipe and you connect 3 gems and it disappears. That type of game. You can send items from that to Knack, at least for the next month, and get some treasures that way. Again, it's a bit randomized, you don't get the better stuff. And other players who have played the game, your friends, you can see what they've opened on that treasure chest, and then you can choose out of your friends or what you would have received which one you actually want to get. So if they happen to unlock a very rare item, you can choose their item instead.
That's interesting.
Yeah. You know, it's a way of rewarding first, you know, an additional download of another product from Sony.
Right.
Or to influence your friends to also be playing this game. It's clever, but you can see why they're pushing these things. Because the hard difficulty
because you
is
played on hard.
merciless. It's difficult. Everything is a one-shot. It's awful. Not too bad. Sometimes you'll find, it put me back 3 rooms, you know, and you grab your base and it's like, and they were difficult rooms. Your health bar will respawn at full health, but your sunstones will remain wherever it was. But the thing is, if you happen to respawn in a room with a sunstone or sun crystal, you can kind of keep farming that sun crystal to get a power up and then work your way through the room. But often that meant playing the same room 6 or 7 times to get enough power to then brute force your way to the next stage. This is very common when you play a game on easy mode versus a hard mode. You find that for the most part, on the easy mode, you can brute force your way through the rooms. You can just run, you know, punch a bunch of times, and for the most part, that strategy will get you through a room. On the hard mode, it is much more about evading and finding your opening, and particularly when there are multiple enemies on the stage at one time, that can be incredibly frustrating because you find you're spending all this time evading, and then if you don't get it, you feel like, I wasted all this time.
No one human ever lived there.
So what I want to do is I want to compare this game to Knack 2. Of course, it had a sequel, they learned from a lot of their mistakes, and so let me tell you what Sony's Shuhei Yoshida said about this game. This was a bit of a disappointment for them. He said about Knack's critical reception that he hoped the game would receive high scores. I'm not going to spoil what he thought. However, he emphasized that Knack was not the type of game reviewers would score high for the launch of a next-gen system. And instead, the game was a message that PlayStation 4 was not just trying to cater only to the hardcore. Now, the sequel came out in February 2017, and they learned from a lot of the mistakes, at least the gamer expressed mistakes from the first game, and they tried to make it better. Now let's talk about the trophy list for Knack 2. So Knack 2 also has a platinum, it has 3 gold, that's 1 less than Knack 1. It has 12 silver, that's 4 more than Knack 1. And has 1,215 points, that's 15 less than Knack 1. But the trophy difficulty for Knack 2 is 5 out of 10. And the reason is that you don't have that RNG farming problem, but you do still need to beat the difficulty and only 1 level on the very hard difficulty. Sorry.
Ooh, I'm all big. Look at me.
How are you feeling with the goblins?
I think,
Having access to tanks,
yeah.
guns,
Why would
but
goblins
also
have...
they explain their access to the weaponry as the plot goes on.
Oh, okay.
But just them having it feels wrong to me.
Yeah.
It feels like they did what would be cool in one element without thinking about the larger picture or cohesive narrative of the game. To the credit of the developers, they had to design levels with Knack being able to accomplish goals at various sizes. As you can tell, he feels differently at the large size.
Yeah.
But if you got hit enough times, you know, he would shrink back down to the smaller, weaker size.
Right. And
But you would also need to be able to
generator,
complete each room in different sizes.
Mm-hmm.
Just a sec, Doc. I'll get the lights on for you. Let's go.
So there's a lot of balancing as far as the difficulty of how...
I just got a trophy. Yes. Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, I see. I see. Okay, so I don't know anything about the anything, so I just picked whatever it had already given to me. But I got another trophy.
Which was?
I got one of the 7 parts needed to complete the secret detector.
Nice. So congratulations on receiving 2 trophies, neither of which are the ones that we need.
Right.
But they are the trophies for collecting your first treasure and your first part.
Cool. Yay, trophies!
These treasures, yay, will eventually come together to build parts that will make Knack more powerful, or be able to find relics more easily, to be able to upgrade faster. So if you collect enough of them, the game does get easier.
I like easy.
But that is to say that there's a certain amount of like decision making on which one you would want to take, especially once you get to getting close to finishing collections. Then you have to make decisions of, you know, what do I actually want first.
Okay, so far I'm actually kind of enjoying this game a little bit. It's the combat is very
this is
stale.
more
I
like
mean, it's the same thing over and over again. There's only like 3 special moves he can do.
I
and,
found
like,
you in a cave, just like this.
But
You see that
I
pedestal?
mean, I like the whole
You find
like,
one of these caves. Like as
build,
not, there's a pedestal. in
find
it.
pieces to
and
build
nothing on
things to
top.
unlock things.
But
Kind
once.
of mechanic.
Oh, this was about 20 years ago now.
It feels like the
I
the
found a
weapon
cave that
leveling
was
in Ratchet and Clank, where like
different.
you use a weapon long enough and it
It
levels
is
up,
said
and
that
then you
these
can
places
modify
were
it
once
in ways and
alive.
whatever.
That the
so.
relics flocked like birds within them.
Well,
But
you mentioned
no
the
one in
repetitive
generations
combat.
had ever seen
I
it
want
so.
to point out that that is one of the elements that they
Until
worked on in
then,
the sequel.
On
In
the
fact,
pedestal was a
it was
glowing
lampshaded
orb,
in the sequel.
and around it spun a
A
constellation
character
of
will
gold,
say,
red and
"It's
blue.
hard to believe you saved the world."
I
Talking
held
to
out my
Knack.
hand.
all you know
I
are
don't
3
know
punches
why.
and a kick.
And the orb
And then
can kill you.
another character says, hey, he can jump too.
It took many years to unlock the secret of the orb. And
So they
strengthen its
recognized
power
and they
100-fold.
adjusted.
Last,
But
I
unfortunately, it
solved
doesn't
the
get any
puzzle.
better. The game really is that, it's
Yeah.
that repetitive.
Yeah.
And the result was you. Hey, let's go
I
take a
like how
closer
they
look.
touted that there are 90 minutes of cutscenes, like it's a good thing in this game. Like, hey man, it's got all these cutscenes you can watch. Like, since when are cutscenes like... I mean, I know sometimes they're good and they add story
Yeah.
or whatever, and like, you know, any Square Enix game, the cutscenes are kind of important.
Yes.
Also
Yeah.
sometimes like forever long and you want to like shoot yourself while you're watching them, but I don't know, 90 minutes of cutscenes? That seems a little excessive.
I agree. Your plot better be damn engaging if you're going to be doing that
It
many
better be
cutscenes.
important and yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
In this game, they're fine. They're mediocre. It's
Yeah.
a very average plot. Go into the relics. It is not worthy of touting 90 minutes worth of it.
Right. It's like have the cutscenes, but don't mark it as like a selling point of your game.
Especially when the game doesn't make any twists. Everyone who you think is a good guy because of their archetype is a good guy.
Right.
You think they're a villain because of their archetype, they're a villain. It's
Yeah.
not like the game needs that
Stay
level
back.
of pre-rendered stories. doesn't it?
Right.
You okay, Doc?
Never better.
The thing about a lot of the earlier Final Fantasy games is that a moment like that, where the goblin knocks you off of the bridge, would not be done in a cutscene. They would have done it with the sprites on the map, and it
Yeah.
would have felt good. It wouldn't have taken you out of that moment. What it feels like in this game is it feels like we've done with this level, and we need to transition you into the next stage,
Yeah.
and so we're going to show a cutscene.
Right. Yeah, there's no real reason for that to be a cutscene.
How do you feel about the map design?
I actually kind of like it.
Yeah.
It feels very natural, and I like how they jump around and figure out where you're going.
Yeah, yeah. I think where this game lacks a little is that Ratchet and Clank, if you think about those levels, they tend to be a bit more open in that you
Yeah.
have a couple of objectives and a couple of different ways that you can platform your way to where you need to go.
Right.
And here we're talking about, you're walking down hallways. Crash Bandicoot is very much a hallway game, so it's not like hallways are necessarily bad.
Yeah.
It can perfectly work, and it works well enough here.
Uh-huh.
And I think that they were really limited because of the fact that Knack is so variable, and that it can be big or small.
Right.
It's hard to do anything other than gated hallways.
Yeah, because you don't know how big he's gonna be. When you get there, you can't like have an open world where like, hey, you can platform this way, but only if you're big. You know, or like,
Yeah. Are you getting any? Do you ever play Katamari Damacy?
Yes.
Getting any vibes of that game?
You know, not really. The thing that I really like about that game is that, like, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, but like in that game you pick up stuff, you know, and then you're big.
Yeah.
And the only way stuff breaks off of you is if you like run into it really hard. Right? Like once you get big, you're big. There's no way to like
Let's go!
It's not so. It's more about building up. It's not about fluxing back and forth.
Right, and the whole point of that is to like get bigger and bigger and bigger. Like if Knack
Careful,
kept
Knack.
getting bigger and
That type
like
of rock
didn't
is
ever
very
go
slippery.
back down to his smallness, that'd be awesome. I'd be all about that. I'd be like, let me collect all the shit. Or if you needed to be a certain size and they put like just small amounts of things and then you had to like go and find them, which sort of it is, but it's also like sometimes it doesn't matter what size you are, so it's like whatever, but you know, it's just nice to be bigger because you deal with the guys faster. You know, it's not like a necessity.
Yeah.
But if there were parts where it was like you have to be X size, you hidden parts in this level, go find them. Like that'd be neat.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you're right. It doesn't really matter because what will happen is if you're not at the size that the game wants you to be when you hit the end of a gated room, the final boss of that room that opens the gate will essentially just give you all of the relics that you need and you'll get to the size you need to be.
Woo! Fighting!
So I know we joked a little bit about the name of this in the beginning here, but I don't have a very good explanation as to why it was called Knack. Like metaphorically, I don't understand the decision.
What was the an acquired natural skill? Is that one of the definitions in your trivia?
Yeah. In fact, that's kind of the Webster definition of Knack.
Yeah.
Or knick-knack also is possible.
Yeah.
But,
perhaps.
you know, both are kind of like, okay, I guess I could stretch my imagination to say he is kind of a collection of knickknacks or he does have skills. But I feel that those are such generic things that it's like,
Right.
you know, congratulations on beating 100 goblins. Not
Thank
the trophy
you.
we're looking for, but it is another trophy received. Anytime you give me a trophy for murdering sentient beings, I feel like it's a job well done.
Oh yeah, totally. One thing I don't like. Oh, there he is. I was like, your dude should be much closer to you. Like, how long does it take him to? Like the dude that's following you, the dude you're escorting?
Yeah. Well, they don't want him involved in the combat.
Sure.
Which is silly, because if you try punching him, it has a non-reaction. So it's sort of like, he can be standing there. It's not like, I mean, he's invincible anyway.
Right. You can't.
And those design decisions, I nip them. This is part of what I do. I look at these things critically.
Sure.
But, you know, have your character say something like, you know, not now, Knack. Go, you know, it doesn't need to be anything except for an acknowledgement that you tried to do something. Because it gives you, the player, a sense that the developers understood what you would have done. So I think this is one of your longer backtracks you've had to do.
Yeah.
You know, if imagine doing it 6 times, you get to the point where it's like, I'm gonna play a different game.
Yeah. Like, oh, I'll put this one aside for a second.
You know, and I know there are people that like the Dark Souls, the Bloodborns, those very difficult precision gaming. You're expected to die a ton of times, and it's about learning from your mistakes and kind of getting that mastery. But
Yeah.
It's
I
blocked.
don't know if I just
We'll
don't
have
have
to
the
go back
patience
the
for
way we
that,
came.
and,
Yeah.
and particularly because this game does not feel like the type of game you would want to waste your time like that on. There's no community surrounding Knack, and you know, oh, you managed to beat Knack? Holy moly! No one says that. So
Yeah. Oh my
I
god, you
disagree
beat Knack?
on having difficulty. Yeah. And people do say that about, like, oh wow, you got the platinum in Bloodborne,
Yeah.
you got the platinum in Dark Souls 3, you are a gamer. Like, that is a moment of accomplishment
Yeah.
to have that on the record. Knack is never going to feel like that, even if Knack is a difficult game. Have you gotten a grasp of the right stick to be
Yeah.
able to shift your character?
Yes, I have, but at the same time, like, I don't
Oh, it's
know
difficult. It is. Yeah. For me, a lot of this was dying over and over again
Yeah.
and getting lucky, or collecting enough sunstone that I can kind of use it at
I thought I
the
heard
worst
noises in
possible
here.
moment in
Is
the,
everyone all
in
right?
the combat.
Your
Right.
But I
robots
always felt
attacked us.
guilty because
Really?
I felt like,
They must
ugh,
have
well,
thought
what
you
if I'm
were
going to need
goblins.
this in the next room?
Terribly sorry. I'll check their programming.
Not to worry, Victor. I picked up a few relics in the process, so I can't say I'm too broken up about it.
There's a draft coming from this direction. Let's go take a look. Really, there's no sense in going into a mine without force and
A
numbers.
lot of testosterone.
You never know
coming
what
from
you'll
a bunch of
meet.
relics.
Goblins, guardians. The greater the treasure, the greater the risk.
I've just now noticed that the twinkly noise when you get the relic, or not the relic, the sunstone,
I started
it
out
plays
by
on the
creating
speaker
mining
on
robots.
the
It's so much
controller.
easier to go down and retrieve
Yeah.
the relics if
I
you
like
have
that.
superior
That's good.
firepower.
Well, you know, it's obvious that they would want to include those elements on a brand new launch game for a new
Right.
system, and so it amazes me that there's no functionality for the touchpad.
Yeah. Or like, you know, you'd think they'd mess around with like making the light change
From there,
colors.
I branched
the
out into
controller.
security robots. The
Amazing.
concept is the
I
same.
mean, it seems
it's
like
just that the attachments are
Sony
different.
would require that as part of it, but they didn't.
Yeah.
But you're right, it is good that the sound effects come from the controller. I like that.
Yeah.
I brought it up in other games we played. I like that element.
Yeah, I like when they include that.
As you were.
Wee, sliding. Okay, got a thing. I I got a I got a double battery part, but you got a transmuter part, so I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna take the transmuter part.
Taking it away from me, copycat. I do like that. I like that you can see what your friends got. I mean,
Yeah.
that's...
I mean, and the transmuter seems to make sense. Like, if your health is low and then you break the sunstone, you get health back rather than. I mean, that's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
I feel like.
The thing is, I don't think you would have collected enough parts by the very end of the game or on a second playthrough, because I just feel like there's not enough treasure chests, even if you were diligent in getting them all,
Really?
to guarantee that you have collected any collection. Especially if you start collecting crystals, they require like 15 to 20 each. Huh. What? So to let you know, I did download the mobile app and I did play it because I wanted to feel like I could give you the entirety of what the game was. It's fine. It's a simple Bejeweled type game. It's really nothing to write home about.
Where you like swap the pieces to line it up or whatever.
Exactly. I mean, it's fine. You beat each level by growing Knack to his maximum size, and you get him grown by collecting points.
Sure.
It's fine. It definitely feels like no effort was made.
Yeah.
You know,
they
we're not
they
gonna
probably
bother
just
to try
took
and make...
it. They bought the a pre-built game and they skinned it with Knack stuff.
I think that's almost exactly what they did.
That's it. We found the goblin hideout.
And again, it feels like them showing off. Oh, we can connect
Ryder,
to...
can you hear me?
Right.
We found a goblin village. Looks like the one we're after. Head
Look
due
at
north
our-
from
look
our
what our
landing spot
technology
about
can
10
do.
clicks and meet us there.
Roger that. See you there.
That's it? You didn't tell him how to get through the mine.
Oh, with his skills, he'll beat us there. Even if he has to climb 5 mountain peaks to do it. Nearly there, Knack.
Ready.
I've called the rest of my troops. I'll see you outside the village.
It's funny, we keep bringing up that you're a fan of Ratchet and Clank, and I forget that your avatar constantly on screen is Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah. That's me.
I don't know. Do you think that they wanted Knack to be another mascot?
I mean, but look at how ugly he is.
He is ugly.
He's not
You're
cute.
Right. And he's not even like a Sonic the Hedgehog type cool for 10 to 15-year-old boys.
Right.
Is he? Am I
No.
misunderstanding? Yeah. I wonder if they thought there would be a toy market for him. You could do different toys.
Yeah, where
It's
you could
possible.
like get some pieces and build your own Knack or something.
Yeah. The other game that Max Cerny said this game was influenced by was
Knack,
God of War.
would you get this elevator
I
going
almost
again?
didn't want to bring it up because what is he talking about? I mean, what about this is God of War that you also violently attack people? Like, you know,
Yeah.
that's every game. That's every. You're talking about a genre at that point.
Yeah, I don't see God of War in this at all.
The
Yeah,
goblin
neither do I.
village is across this lake
Kind of
and
hard to
up that
mossy.
cliff.
Okay, a little bit.
We're almost there.
Crash Bandicoot. Yes, definitely.
Uh-huh.
The humans in this world look like they belong in the Pokemon.
So do these birds.
They do.
And the bugs that I encountered earlier. I mean, this bird just
Yeah.
shot a tornado at me. How is that's like totally a Pokemon thing, right? Doesn't Pidgey or something have.
Yes, completely. These birds and beetles, by the way, don't represent monsters. They just represent
The
the regular
creatures,
wildlife,
the wildlife.
of this world. Yeah.
You know, in this tiny mode, Knack sort of reminds me of Clank when you're in Clank levels.
Yep.
And you have to go and you have like the short arms and you can only hit people from so far away. And
Yeah, totally. And you know, the Clanks are my least favorite thing. I don't like being nerfed like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Clank is definitely a downgrade. You know, when you're used to playing as Ratchet.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, I have to play as Clank now.
And you know, Clank was the puzzle element. That was
Right.
his whole role.
Right. So it's not like you were
But-
like. There were occasionally times where you had to like punch an enemy or whatever, but it was also there were also a lot of like running parts where you had to like escape from things. And it's like, but I'm tiny. You expect me to run?
The thing about this game is that you are nerfed at the beginning of every level.
Right.
And it is frustrating because it feels like I put in effort and energy to make him, you know, powerful.
Yeah.
And you won't let me keep any of that.
No, yeah. That's sad. Really.
But it also speaks to a sense of progress in the game. Because if you're going to do that, if you're going to make your character static and rely on you and as a player, your skills, it means you have to do something with the story to
Yeah.
raise the stakes. I think of like Uncharted, where you know your character doesn't get any better. You have the same skill sets the entire time.
Right.
It's about the environment and you taking your skills
And
that
figuring
you've had
it
the
out.
entire game and just adapting. When I was killing this goblin, I was saying to myself, I don't really have a clear motivation for why I'm doing this. And I feel a little bit guilty about murdering all of these goblins.
Yeah.
And I felt that way when I got the trophy.
Cause like, what are those? Like those goblins that are there aren't really like they don't have tanks. They're just like trying to be goblins.
Yeah.
I don't get why.
But also, like, even if...
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I don't know what I was gonna say. You're fine.
You know, I need more backstory to understand what the hell's going on here.
Yeah.
Other
First
than
of
they
all-
look different than humans.
Yeah, like maybe the humans like did something to them that are making them want or something. Like maybe made them
Especially
angry
because
or
we
whatever.
play as non-humans.
Yeah. Yeah. Like what did I ever do to you, Goblin? What did you ever do to me?
Yeah, we can see what you're doing to them. I was so confused by this small section because I was like, are you really requiring me to use that special power?
Yeah.
What if I didn't have it?
Right, what if I didn't have enough sunstone energy or whatever? Yeah. Seems a little ridiculous.
Or maybe the game would have given it to you if you didn't have that. You know,
Maybe.
I don't think I just...
There was a lot of sunstone leading up to it that I didn't really use until then, so maybe they knew it was coming and they're like, let's just front load it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they knew it was coming, they just wanted to use it.
Yeah, though I do agree with myself in that I think that it was different teams, but different elements together, and it wasn't a lot of class appreciation. Ah, to agree with myself.
I mean, if you can't agree with yourself, then there's definitely something wrong.
Let's see what happens. So let's talk a little bit about the fact that you were playing this game without it even being fully installed yet. We've
Yeah.
never really talked about that feature, and it's nice
Yeah.
that you can download essentially just a portion of it and play. Definitely enough for our purposes. But how do you feel about both that feature, but also the fact that this game is a whopping 35 gigabytes?
This game is 35 gigabytes, and I, like, based on what I'm playing right now, I have no idea why. Why is this game 35 gigabytes? Like, what the
Did
heck?
I not mention the 90 minutes of cutscenes?
Oh, right. The 90 minutes of cutscenes. What the flip?
Yeah, that feels like a space compression issue or something.
Yeah.
You're right. That's huge download.
And I mean, and the thing, like, I do like the feature of being able to start the game and play it while it's still downloading. And I only needed like 4.5 gigs in order to start playing. And so, like, what are those other 30 some gigs? Like, what else is there?
I'm gonna look up the PS4 re-release of Ratchet and Clank, the new one based on the movie.
Yeah.
That was 26.25 gigabytes.
Okay, but that I could understand.
But it's less. It's 10 gigabytes less.
Yeah.
You have plenty of cutscenes, some of
Yeah.
which were from a film. I mean, it
Yeah.
was like. And if the length of it felt, the level design felt large. I mean, perhaps it really is the fact that, this character is so many little individual objects. But the thing is, you're so far away
Almost
from
there.
Knack, you don't
can
even
check out the
appreciate it.
goblin
Your
from the
third-party
top of that
perspective
rise.
is this aerial view of him, like,
Yeah, it's not.
you don't
like,
need to have designed him that
Maybe I
way.
should spend a little more time staying in shape.
Right. It's not like
little less
it's
time
not like
inventing
it's like an
things like
over the
you.
shoulder or like he's right there behind you. Or the camera's right there behind him. I mean, it's far away enough that they could just make it look
It's a
like
mystery.
it's in pieces
I can
and
see
not
the
make
tanks.
everything an
Nothing that
individual
looks like
piece
a major
that needs to
metalworking
like.
operation. There's no way the tanks were made here.
The gate's open.
Yeah.
Let's go down there and take a look around.
What?
It's
And
time
then
to
just
wrap
when you
this
do
up and go
close-ups
home.
and make it a
We're certainly
cutscene.
not going to
Right,
learn anything more
right.
by standing around
Because
up
in the
here.
cutscene, it doesn't matter. It's hit. The parts fall off
Lucas,
individually or whatever.
you wait over here until
You know
we know
what I
that
mean?
it's safe.
Yeah.
Knack, look after him.
It reminds me
Are
of
you sure
Bound.
it's
You remember
wise to
this
go
game that
in?
we
They
played?
have to
Yes,
know
I
we're
remember
coming.
Bound.
If it wasn't wise, I wouldn't
A
be
lot
doing
of the praise for that game was, oh, look at how much of a technical feat this is. All these individual elements
seeing a
moving in sync,
tremendous
and the
number of relics
environment
that way.
Right.
constantly shifting
everything
and
they
being
stole
made
from
of
the
individual
outpost and
components.
then
And it really felt like, that's good, but like to what effect?
Yeah. What's the point of it?
And I think I told you back then, those were also people known for doing engine tests,
Right.
graphical engines, and it felt like, yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Who are you? And what are you doing in my village?
The classic
You attacked a
goblin
human
on the
settlement.
tank motif.
Did you think there would be no consequences?
Consequences.
These are still goblins, by the way, even though that is an
consequence
orc.
I got lots
Yeah.
of relics and sunstones and other good stuff.
Not to get old Dungeons and Dragons nerd on you, but that is an orc.
Visitors. Are you all?
Yeah, why do they call them
We're
goblins?
enough. The high-tech
And the whole race of
armaments of these
goblins, I don't know.
robots
I
are
don't
more
get it.
than
These
capable.
tanks are very
Those
impressive
the small
pieces
blue
of
ones I can
machinery.
understand.
We were wondering
Where I got them is that
Especially
what
when you're
after?
big.
Won't
know.
say. But since you're so
When Knack is
interested
big and
in
the
them,
small ones look real
let
small.
me give you a closer look. Ah!
Those look like that.
I don't know. I think they more just felt like blue. Blue is goblin.
Yeah.
Secure the gates!
That Flynn guy looks like
Yeah.
the. Have you seen Tangled?
Yes.
You know, like the.
Yes.
The two dudes that are like trying to get the crown from the main
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Let's go see if there's any other way into the village.
Yeah, not exactly inspired character
No.
design.
Yeah, they're definitely archetypical looking. Like, this guy's definitely the adventurer. Look at all his muscles and his long hair.
And here's the thing, the entire plot to this game is driven by the secondary characters. Knack does very little to drive the plot. I mean, he is put into, oh, Knack, fight these enemies while we come up with the freaking plan. You know, while we do the plot, you fight those 7 goblins, and then you come back to another cutscene where the plot is moved forward again.
Yeah.
And it does not feel like Knack drives it.
No.
And that's not good. Your gameplay, if you're gonna do this, your gameplay has to be in service to the story. Or they at least both have to be compatible. It cannot constantly be story, pause on story, gameplay, okay,
Right.
pause on gameplay, story. That's not good.
Which is why I think it's ridiculous that whoever you're supposed to be escorting through the levels is not with you. You know, they
Yes.
wouldn't have to do a cutscene saying, oh, XYZ thing, if your dude was just right there with you and he could just talk to you as you're moving.
Yeah. Because this is supposed to be an escort mission, in the sense that that's why you're doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
That's basically what the last mission was too. Escort this guy to wherever we were going. You know who else he looks like? The guy from How to Train Your Dragon. They look very similar.
That is a very close resemblance. That is exactly who he looks like. You're
Yeah.
totally right.
Look at those defenses. They sure
And
don't
even
want
the
anybody
character
in your
model, the
village.
character arc matches that character better.
Right, because he's got like a thing that no one is sure of, and then he like trains them to like
Yeah.
do
yeah.
good shit, like save the community or whatever he does in that movie. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah, but you see, okay, in How to Train a Dragon, that dragon has an arc. I know that sounds stupid. I know I keep saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But the dragon learns to trust humanity. There's an entire thing. Their relationship builds. It goes from one thing to another thing.
Yep.
And I don't want to spoil, but in the 7 chapters I've played, plus videos on YouTube that I've watched of the ending, because I didn't want to be speaking out of my ass.
Right.
Knack doesn't grow at all. Knack doesn't do or learn anything. He's the exact same from beginning to end, and the world doesn't change because of him. It's like, what? I don't understand how they don't get writers who care about this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe this is a kid's game, and I'm thinking too much about it. But you know, How to Train a Dragon is a kid's movie.
Yeah, exactly. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is a kid's movie. I mean, that wasn't really what we were talking about, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. You know, and there's a lot of talk about the Ratchet and Clank movie when that came out. Did you ever see that?
I watched about 10 minutes of it, and then I was like, this is miserable. Why am I watching this?
That's okay, great. This is at least my point. And they talked about the original game versus the movie, and how in the original game they had a plot and they had a character growth. How you had 2 characters, Ratchet and Clank, who didn't even like each other at 1st, but then
Yeah.
grew and bonded and became personality types that complemented each other and helped each other grow. And by the end of it, you felt like this was a team that had come together. And in the movie, it was just, hi, I'm Ratchet, hi, I'm Clank. We are best friends upon
Yeah.
first meeting. And it was just a shame that the movie, which should have been the one that succeeded at the plot,
Yeah.
failed. Amazing. As is normal, it's a lot of complaining. The gameplay is fine. I think you would agree. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not a...
It's a little repetitive, but, you know.
But you move fast enough, and you do get interspersed with the cutscenes that you feel like, okay, I mean, I guess my reward is getting to watch this mediocre movie.
But, like, I don't understand. Okay, so I got to the top of whatever thing that I was just doing, right? And then killed the dudes, and then I jumped up on a thing that was a little bit too high for me, and then it immediately went to a cutscene where the two dudes are just jumping over some shit. It's like, you don't need to make that a cutscene. That does not you. What?
Yeah. And they made it a cutscene because this is a new level. It's a new corridor, and they did not have a good way to switch from one to the other.
Yeah, they needed the load time, which is just ridiculous because what? Like,
you know, a lot of modern games don't even bother.
Oh no. So I lost Tony. Let's see if I can get him back. I don't know what happened, but apparently one of us fell out of the party, so gonna try to get Tony back because he's the one with all the information and the good conversation, and I don't want to just be talking here to you alone. Oh, there we go. There's Tony. Join. Hello? Are you there, Tony?
Hello again.
Oh, hi. Sorry about that.
It's okay. It could have been my end too. You know, internet's not 100%.
Yeah, same here. It used to be, I used to have such good internet at my last apartment because I paid a ridiculous amount of money to have the 100 megabit service.
Yeah.
But I no longer live there, and I don't want to pay $85 a month for internet that I don't need.
No, that sucks. Especially because it's a new place. It sucks they don't offer you a promotion.
Well, it's because so I live in this house, which is essentially a boarding house, and they provide the internet. So like I don't have to pay for that at all. It's just I think they have Verizon Fios, and I just use whatever that they have. Like I'm connected to the Wi-Fi network, so what the hell? So I didn't have to like do anything with that.
It's nice they offer it though.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't pay any bills other than my rent.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
So we left off in exactly the same corridor that we were in.
Yes, because I'm having trouble getting through this one.
Yeah, this one has a lot of those traps. I think it wants you to kind of do your best to jump avoiding the traps, but it's hard. So you fight goblins, you fight robots, and I don't think you're going to see it, but you also fight what appear to be humans, or maybe cyborgs, probably just humans with futuristic armor.
Okay.
For one, I find it amazing that the game doesn't seem to address the morality of you killing these humans.
Right.
Because you're on the side of the humans. I don't understand how the game just ignores that entirely. Plus, the game does the whole thing when you kill somebody, they disintegrate, they don't do anything, which also feels a little weird with humans. Like, I understand it with robots exploding and goblins. Okay, they're kind of mystical. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But it's another one of these examples where the game, it tries to be serious, it tries to be silly, and then it just dispenses with whatever is in.
I got another part.
What did you get?
I took one of my other friends had gotten a secret detector part, so I took it. So now I have 2 parts for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
All of the parts have a rarity rating, so it shows how likely that would have shown up. My strategy was just to always choose whatever was the most rare.
Oh, that's pretty good. I should start doing that. So, like, do you get a trophy for having rare picks, or is it just like because you want to get the rare thing?
No, just because, you know, I know that the RNG to get me that thing again, it would take a long time, just to minimize the amount of time. Because, you know, I do plan on getting the platinum for this game.
Yeah.
There are some games that we've played that I'm like, maybe in the apocalypse, I have nothing left to do. Okay, I'll come back to it. And there are other games that I'm like, you know, I feel like platinum is easy and doable. And this game, even though the platinum is probably going to be difficult because of the RNG and the playing through very hard, I feel like I want to do it. I feel like this is the type of game where I feel like it tests my mettle enough that I want to be able to do it, to say, no, I can keep up. I'm a gamer.
There's another gate. No tanks guarding this one.
Yeah, but that's a lot of goblins to fight.
Yeah, you know, I've
they
literally
look
never
tough.
gone back and played any of the games that we played for this.
I was thinking.
Once
None
See
of
these
them?
broken
Wow.
icicles?
Nope.
I wonder if you could bulk up with these.
I was
rather
sure
than
that you were going
relics.
to give Batman
They're
another
about the
go.
right size.
Yeah,
The
I don't
doctor
know, man.
says that's not
I don't
possible.
know.
The arcane energies of your chest orb can interact
So have you been
only with the
deleting these
hybridance
games
material
as
of the
you
relics.
needed, or
The
you haven't
doc-
used it
Yeah,
yet?
I've been removing them
I
to
say
make
let's give it a
space
try.
as I need.
What's to lose?
I mean, they're still in my library, so I can re-download them if necessary, but...
Yeah.
See? Nothing happens.
That one moved.
It did?
You know, I had purchased a USB hard drive that I've plugged into the PlayStation to give me an extra terabyte, but that's getting full too.
Really?
Yeah. I have this like thing. I don't like deleting them until I get the platinum.
All for
But I'm
more.
gonna have to let that go because some of these games we downloaded, like the Metal Gear, like 70 gigs.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Watch out for goblins in there.
And Knack at, you know, almost 40.
Right? Like 40.
So, yeah, I know. So this is the other variation that the game throws at you, is that Knack can not only absorb relics, but he can absorb common elements like ice, and then later on you can do crystal, or I think it's just supposed to be glass.
Okay.
And then later on you can do wood, and each one really just means you're stronger more quickly. And that typically some environmental element will slowly disintegrate you, like you'll go into the heat and the ice will melt, or you'll get into fire and the wood will burn, or the crystal one makes it so you can go invisible. It doesn't add enough to the game to even bring up as, you see, this is a new element, because it's
I mean, I do
minimal.
notice that he is stronger and it's easier to beat these guys, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But,
And you know, I think part of it is because both, all three, ice, glass, and wood, none of which you would think, oh man, he's a badass now. In fact, I might think, okay, he probably is really weak now. Maybe he's bigger,
'cause,
but...
like, ice breaks, man.
Yeah. I think that's why the game was so adamant to being like, no, he's a badass. We're gonna prove it to you right off the bat. See how badass he is? Look at all these weak elements compared to weak monsters compared to you.
Yeah.
He looks good. He looks better as the ice guy.
Yeah, I like him as the ice guy.
How do you feel about water levels and ice levels in games generally? Are they frustrating to you, or?
Water levels have always been frustrating to me. I don't really know. You know, let's go back to Ratchet and Clank. So Ratchet and Clank has both a water level and an ice level.
Yeah.
And, you know, I actually enjoyed those in that game. But, like, if you put me in a water level in Mario, I'm gonna just, like, throw the controller because I hate them so much.
Well, the typical problem with water levels is that the mechanics are just difficult to get a grasp of.
Yeah.
Controlling fluidly your character.
Right.
It's similar with ice levels in that you typically will have a slippery ice terrain and then it slows it down and makes your character slightly more unpredictable, but it's not different enough that you feel like I have no idea what's going on, which is the bigger problem in water levels.
Right. Yeah, water levels, obviously, it's going to be a whole lot different to control your character because the fluidity of water is different, and, like, obviously the density, you're going to, like, slow down, and you're going to have to... Figuring out how to, like, go up and down in water levels is always so annoying to me. I'm like, oh, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? To submerge and then...
Yeah.
Yeah. I always get so confused.
Well, again, from what I can tell, no water levels.
Good. I mean, ice levels are fine, really. But, like, water levels? Nothing to...
In hard mode, it's more about just recognizing the pattern that the monsters have. The PSN description makes a point of saying, oh, the challenging AI, and I don't see that at all. I see, like, basic patterns. I certainly don't think that these are an AI to write home about.
No, it's like...
But when you...
Sorry, guys.
The yawn of the game! 30 minutes.
An hour and 30 minutes.
I feel like this is the point where you might say, okay, I'm wrapping up.
I'm good.
So you were saying?
I don't remember, actually.
About the AI?
Oh, right. It's like you just have to figure out what their pattern is. It's not like they have a lot of different, like, oh, this guy with the bombs normally does bomb, like, you know, whatever the timing is or whatever, but it's not like he has, like, different patterns where you have to figure out, okay, what pattern is this guy? It's like, oh, guy with bombs? Like, okay, let me...
Yes.
2 seconds, and run in. Yeah.
And I feel that pattern becomes really noticeable once you start going, oh, wait, this is the robot skin of the archer guy. Right. This is the human skin of the bomb guy. You can tell, like, it's not even like every enemy has a different...
Right.
It's just the same patterns.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that it can't be challenging, but again, like, what balls do you have to point it out like it's some great thing? Because it's not. It's the most basic you can do.
Yeah.
It's serviceable. It's not impressive.
Yeah, it's not like super smart AI. No, dude, no. They're basically
Yeah, the only thing I've noticed is that depending on how far away you are from the enemy, his moves vary a little bit, but
yeah.
So we haven't even brought up that it's Sunday and not Monday.
Right, so we were last Thursday when we played, we said, oh, we would play on Monday and Thursday, except for
it's a new look for
today's
me.
a Monday.
What do you think?
At all.
Right.
You look fierce.
So,
I
you know,
feel
life
fierce
happens
too,
sometimes.
But
So
I'm
it's
gonna have
Monday
to
now.
hustle
We
once
try.
I get out there.
Yeah.
We just really want to
I
get these
figure I've
episodes
got
to you
less than a
guys.
minute before
Yeah,
the
we
sun
really wanted
melts
to play
me
the
back down
February
to
games,
size.
but like
Well, a
Tony
minute
has
might
a
be
week
enough.
where he's occupied,
See the
and
three
then I have a
crossbars
week
on the
where I'm
gate?
occupied, so
The mechanisms that control them,
yeah.
those are your targets.
Got it.
Is this what he does? He just trains different mythical creatures? That's this guy's job.
The How to Train Your Dragon guy?
Well, who I'm now headcanoning is the same as Lucas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant. Lucas, the How to Train Your Dragon guy.
So here's that element, environment element to the ice thing. You are melting, so...
Yes, I see that.
Yeah, this is the way of pressuring you.
Yeah, now I'm tiny. Oh no. Now I'm tiny. I'm dead.
Yeah, that does happen. He smashed you.
One down, 2 to go.
Okay, so you start back here where you can build up your ice. Oh,
Yeah.
I need to get some yellow scuffs now.
This is the most off the rails that the game gets. It does
Yeah.
this a couple of times, which is to reach the paths, do the same thing in each path to unlock
Right.
the gate. And I liked it. I definitely felt like this was a nice change of pace. I like
Yeah.
this, and I like that this is not just another hallway.
Right.
But it felt like if this is the high point, you know, it's
Yeah.
thank you for including it, but it's bar is kind of low.
Right. I mean, I wish more of the levels were like that, where there's like
One more to go.
different places that you can go, you know, sort of like Ratchet and Clank, where there's like, you land on a planet, the planet has 4 objectives, you know, and you just,
Yeah, some of which you even have to come back to.
right. Right, so you're on the planet and then you have to go leave and do something else on one of the other planets in order to unlock something on that planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big strategy going on to the beginning first.
Yeah, right? I was like, I still have ice, let me do him first.
Smart cookie.
Yeah,
They're
sometimes.
guarding that building. I wonder if that's
your
where they
second
keep the
compliment
relics
in
and
one
all the
video.
other things they
That
stole.
one was free.
Hope so.
Thanks.
It's been slim picking so far.
I'll see you over there. Looks like you'll need to take the long way. Sorry.
What? You're just gonna leave me here? I can't ride with you? On. Okay.
I mean, I hear you. Not like he was doing anything. It feels like, what was the point of him leaving? It's not like he was there in the first place.
Right? But like, why does he get to zip line up there and I have to like kill stuff?
You know, 2 more levels to go. I will say the Goblin establishment is huge, so they would not have noticed this rising threat. It feels like everyone is so insular in this world, yet somehow has the resources to have these giant mansions. But okay, your world makes no freaking sense.
Yeah.
But okay,
Yeah, like how do they not know? It's like that's one of my complaints about Beauty and the Beast. Like, okay, this guy lives within a day's ride of this village, and he was their prince. How do they not know this dude, right?
yeah, yes, you know, it's bad world building. You
Yeah.
know, establish something. Have somebody pay him to think about what the world would have to be like if you had goblins and stuff, and then include a couple of elements into the game. You don't even have to address them overtly. Just, you know, show things in the background. Show them taking do something.
Yeah.
It just feels like you stuck your fantasy world into this technology world,
Yeah.
and you didn't do anything. You didn't flesh it out.
Yeah, cause like, have there always been goblins? Like,
Yep.
have we just ignored the goblin problem for so long that our technology has advanced enough to now that there's robots? But the goblins are like, yo, we're still here, you know, we want your technology too.
I feel like you've thought about it now more than they ever did.
Yeah. Like my 2 sentences was more than they ever thought about why there are goblins in the same world as there are robots.
Yeah, really, it's a shame. It's such a shame.
Yeah.
What have you received?
I don't remember what I received, but its rarity was only like 1 star. So I went and found a part. Somebody had gotten a part to the secret detector that was a 3-star rarity, so I took that.
Nice. So, I guess a bigger question for you: knowing that you're getting to play all of these games, at least touch them all, at least experience a taste of them all, and then a lot of them you don't come back to. In fact, you can't come back to any yet.
No.
Do you feel like it's a valuable experience getting to get your hands wet in some of these experiences?
You know, I do think it's valuable because I am not a big gamer. We know this. Loyal viewers know this. And I haven't really played a lot of games, and so to be able to play this wide variety of different genres, different play styles, different, you know, whatever games that I never would have played otherwise. Yeah, I think it's been it's been really eye-opening in ways. Because, you know, I am a creature of habit. I like Mass Effect games, so of course I've played, except for the latest one I haven't played, but like, you know, when a Mass Effect game comes out, I'm like, oh, I know that title, let me go check that out, you know what I mean? Like, I understand the mechanics of that game, let me go play that. Or like, even with Assassin's Creed. Oops. I haven't played all of the Assassin's Creed games, but I know if an Assassin's Creed comes out, I'm gonna know how to play that game. I'm gonna know that I'm probably gonna enjoy the gameplay, maybe not the plot, but the gameplay, and like, you know, so I don't really branch out much from what I know in terms of games. And so you and me doing this, where it's like, most of these games I've never even heard of, you know, and so it's been fascinating, actually.
You know, it's funny because I had heard of Knack as far as the name, and knowing that it was a game that was wanted to be popular, but did not make it. But I did not know what the gameplay was like. I didn't know it was a platformer, beat 'em up. I had no idea. And, you know, I feel like this game is... And I can see why that would be so upsetting to be meme-worthy for people, because of the amount of hype.
Yeah.
Honestly, this feels like a game that you would release somewhere in the middle of the lifespan of your product. Not much money would have been thrown at it. You know, they would have banked on the fact that people like nostalgia, and that would be it. We wouldn't think about it. We wouldn't have a sequel, which is crazy that we do. And of course, this game is released as part of the PlayStation Plus as marketing for the sequel. I mean, that's obviously what Sony's thing is. But here's what's interesting. The sequel came out last year, and a lot of people thought, and they kept guessing. There are all these forums and website predictors of what game will be next on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Knack was on the top of these lists forever.
Really?
Everyone thought Sony owns Knack. It cost them nothing to put it on PlayStation Plus.
Right.
It's a AAA title. It's gonna be the one that they're gonna throw out there. And there were so many months that it felt like, how did you not put that out there?
When did the
it's funny that this...
what month last year did the sequel come out?
Oh yeah, the sequel came out in September 2017.
September, you said?
Yep.
So I mean, it wasn't all that long ago. Of course, they knew that they were making a sequel, so, you know, I'm sure they wanted to wait until, you know.
PS Plus would be Knack. And then every month after that, they were like, okay, but it's going to be this time. It's got to be.
Right,
And,
so they kept just saying,
now.
hey, it's gonna... I wonder why they waited. You know, I wonder why they waited till February. Maybe just to see how the game did on its own before they... You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's possible. I mean, I don't know. I'm not behind any marketing team. Maybe this was the right decision, but maybe they felt they needed to get a push later on in the cycle. But my understanding would be you get as many up front, because then you get word of mouth, and that's how you drive. But I don't know. So I do want to point out that you are very close to our trophy.
Okay.
You're about to meet the chieftain.
Oh, this guy. Wait, this is the guy we met earlier. Oof.
Yeah.
My pieces! Don't touch those!
All are made of relics.
Let's try that again.
I mean,
I don't like grabbing my parts.
Yeah. Consent, man. Have you heard of it?
That's what Knack is about. Knack's underlying theme is consent. You beat him up.
Yeah, he had it coming.
As you may have noticed, and as you will notice the next few times we do this, he is a classic 3x3 structure enemy. That means that you have to hit him 3 times, 3 times. It's one of those things that video games, they love doing. They love doing the 3x3, and they love doing the 7. 7 is another common number for... And there's something satisfying about, like, hitting those numbers as far as defeating bosses. Just an odd quirk that has come out over the years.
I've just realized that I've done this in a poor order. Oof. I should have killed these guys and then gone and gotten those relics.
Yeah.
Because now I'm gonna
It's
die.
possible the gate closed behind you. I'm not sure. I like that you can just see him waiting for you.
Yeah, he's like, gotta go. I don't want to go around the corner. Ugh.
Yeah. No, I guess it won't close. Yeah, I guess we'll tear them first. You know, I must have died 10 times doing this part. I never thought to do that.
Yeah, because I was like, what? What's the point of getting these right when I respawn? Because I'm already at full health.
I even thought to myself every time I got them, like, oh, what a waste of these things. It only grows your bar a tiny bit.
Oh my god, this fucking guy with his gun. Oof.
That was a hit. But you cleared him. That's good. That's 2.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was adopted from like an orc family.
Who? The chieftain?
Yeah, the air quotes goblin.
Oh. Yeah, he... The goblins weren't his birth parents.
That's right. And no one told him.
Yeah.
Take care of that Indiana goblin.
Oh yeah, he's got a whip, right?
Yeah. Which is odd. You would think the whip would be much less deadly than the sword. But
Right.
it's not.
Take him out! I'll do this myself.
That wasn't too bad. It was good.
Yeah. It was okay.
Man, he does not stop running away.
Oh yeah. Like, why does he destroy the shit? Like, what did this shit ever do to you? He's like, I'm gonna...
Knack!
I don't know.
Yeah,
You're
I
massive.
worry that you're playing the bad guy.
I am at that.
Yeah.
Stick close now.
I
Let's
mean,
go find the others.
the humans have much more advanced technology. These are definitely... They just appear to be the oppressed, man. You know, and them violently reaching out, you know, violently attacking the human civilizations. Yeah, that's bad, but I'm not sure that the solution is sending in essentially
Yeah.
this Godzilla character.
Because clearly I have every advantage to these people, like, to these goblins or whatever. Like, there's no way that they can defeat me.
And we have airships and stuff.
Right. And they have stolen tanks. You know? Like, they didn't make those tanks. They took them. Because I'm sure the humans were like, let's oppress these guys. Oof. What just happened?
Yeah, what is that?
Apparently I'm picking this tank up. What am I doing with
Nice.
it? Throwing it somewhere? Where, what? Why do I have this tank? What do I do with it?
Throw it into the building.
This
or whatever.
building?
Doesn't really matter. I think you just dispose of it.
Oh, I just have to throw it. Anywhere?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Or it's your new buddy.
Like, I don't want him to carry this tank around with me. Where am I? What do I do now? This way?
To the north. You can jump off the ledge.
To the north.
Well, I assume it's the north. I'm going off cardinal directions, but I actually don't know what's north.
Look, there are little mini goblins on the top of these things that I'm destroying when I... Oh my god. It's like
All the murder that no one will ever address, including the bad guys. Like, there's just no consequence. I don't know. grab my head. I shouldn't care. I mean, it just...
But I mean, like, this is the thing that we talk about often when it comes to games, because there's, you know, there's like morality and stuff in the games that you play, and like, this just, why is he making the decisions that he's making other than that the humans are saying, hey, these goblins are bad? We don't know that the goblins are bad. I mean, I haven't seen them really. They're attacking me, but it's because I'm beating the shit out of them. Like,
yeah. And there was the opening cutscene where they say the goblins are attacking their problem, but looking at the state of their affairs, they do not seem like that big of a threat.
No.
And it definitely seems like there must have been something that happened in the world to justify why both humans and goblins are where they are at. You have to time your attack, because you can't attack him when he's shielded, but when he's not shielded, you can attack.
oh my god. His gun is like serious business.
Yeah.
I'm all the way back here? That's some bullshit. It's not that far.
And you get to re-murder all those people.
Right? Bonus.
I mean, I'm going to spoil the plot a little bit for you.
That's
A
fine.
lot of this plot ends up being about power and about your doctor, Dr. Vargas, the white-haired guy, competing to get the power of the relics, and Lucas is the one that ends up kind of saying, guys, we've been warned, this is really dangerous, let's not do this. But Knack doesn't really contribute to the conversation. He's just like, okay, well, you know, whatever we decide. It's funny. Victor is bad, in case you couldn't tell, by him being a dark-haired character with a mustache and a goatee, you know. And his assistant, of course, is just bad, well. Worried you weren't going to do that. You did it. The orc problem does not ever feel like the pressing issue, and I think in this scene you'll get a little bit of like the politics of the orc, but it is not satisfying. In fact, it makes you think like, I don't think the humans are being diplomatic enough about this.
Yeah. I feel like the robot problem is the bigger threat, right? Like, these robots that are supposedly like on your side keep turning bad. Maybe you want to investigate that.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of little things bother me. Previously you were in a cave with Victor's robots, and you could destroy them, like I noticed you didn't, which is fine. Narratively, that probably makes the most sense that you can destroy them.
Well, they
but
would
the
have...
fact that you can...
Yeah. Some of them had green eyeballs, and some of them had red ones. So I was like, the green ones are fine. Oh, Jesus. It's fucking cool.
No, and that's right. The thing that frustrated me was the fact that you could kill them, and no one brought it up. No one seemed to think it was a problem that Knack destroyed all these robots.
Well, yeah, and no one was saying, like, the doctor who, like, had invented them or whatever, the guy whose robots they were, like, he was just, like, chill, like, oh, what? Yeah, okay, my robots are acting up, whatever. I'm sure he's, like, the root cause of it, but you find that out later, probably. But, like, oh my god.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel like it would take more than one line of dialogue. Make the character invincible, make the robot invincible so that narratively it doesn't get disrupted, or make him destroyed and then have the character make a comment like, Knack, you're so destructive.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Especially because Knack would end up being in the right in the end. I don't know, it feels like same element that I've been telling you about. Design where it's not complementary, where design elements are competing against each other.
Right. These tanks, I want to destroy them all. They're being pissing me off. No, but I mean, I can't. I'm not being able to. I'm dying.
You're good there.
I wish that when you die that you would just come back to the second set of tanks. Like, I already destroyed the first set. Oh my god, these fucking tanks. Ugh.
In the hard mode, it's one shots. Everything is one shots.
Oh man, I would be so mad.
I died so many times. I made it, like I said, mid chapter 7, and I do get a sense of like pride about that, but it was at the expense of like so many hours of like, oh my god, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I know.
you grabbed it as like a... And what did we get this time?
I got a combo something part, but I swapped it out for a part to the secret detector. Oh my god, another fucking tank. Die already, you piece of shit. Junk.
It's a good insult.
Tanky junk.
Thank you, junk. You know, it's interesting because I could not get a sense of how long it would take for you to get through this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I started so many times. So it was like, okay, this will probably take her like an hour and a half. And it's interesting because we hit 2 hours.
Yeah.
And you are right at the end. I mean, the guy's coming up and we're done. But it's just interesting because it's like, okay, so I don't feel as bad for how badly I thought I was playing.
Oh my. Ah! I was so close. What?
How far back?
I don't know. This other tank.
No, it's
It's
just
not
one
that
thing.
far. I know it's not that fast, you know. Fucking tank.
And I think also the game is trying to give you an opportunity to build up your yellow again.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
I think what's more frustrating is when you waste the yellow. When you use the yellow and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even succeed and I don't have the yellow anymore. That's the worst.
Yeah. That's a terrible feeling.
So you do get a trophy for going the entire level, like in chapter 2-1 or 2, without using the yellow at all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which I'm surprised to do. I can't believe I did that. And I think it was because of nervousness. It was like, I don't want to use this because I'm going to need
Right.
it. And I ended up not using it. I think you climb up pretty well. Yeah, this sequence is dragged out, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, be that bad if I hadn't been dying.
Well, I mean, I think dying is part of it, though. Is that it should, even if you're dying a bunch, the pacing should still feel... Oh, I never found that one.
Okay, so I have gotten a combo meter part that has a rarity of 3 stars. You got a time dilator part, which had a rarity of 1. My other friend has a sunstone battery part, rarity of 3 stars. So do I want the combo meter? I'll take the combo meter part, because there are 7 of them.
Good idea.
Climb
What's that?
really slowly, climbing up the wall. Like, you're huge. You should make quick work of this.
Yeah, it gets like a it's just like, okay, I can get it, but it's frustrating because I want to come back.
Yeah.
Just get a tank in its face. And just the way you were like, ugh, no. It was so nonchalant.
I said no. I said nope when I was jumping away from the tank that was about to shield itself.
Oh, okay. I'm on a bit of a delay, so it matches
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, our intrepid heroes.
Leave it!
Yeah.
No! It's all I've got!
I gotta tell you, I hated this game. It just felt like this is unnecessary, and it
There
doesn't
you
match
go.
physics.
See you at the top.
Yeah, what? He just
Thanks for the hand, Knack!
stays there?
Yep. Yep. I super glued it when you weren't looking. I always keep a thread super glue with me. Did I not mention that power?
How did his relic? No. Of course. That's why they fall off so easily.
I like that we're getting to the heart of these mysteries. Good.
Yeah. The
That's what we're here for.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, though. Where is he? Oh, he's up there. Jeez.
Ugh, more change. My favorite.
Oh, you're loving this thing. So what was pissing me off was not only that I was dying in Final obviously, I was just dying over again. But then when I died, I had to restart and climb that stupid structure again.
Yeah.
And it took so long, and I was like, I hate this. I hate this so
I know.
much.
And then up. And then
Yeah.
obnoxious.
Very frustrating. Think of all the goblin like children that are in the building.
Right? Oh my goodness. Poor children. Okay. Oof. No.
Alright, you cleared. You destroyed an entire army.
Yeah, you'd think that like that would be the end of the game. Like I just killed everyone. Done.
I'll admit I didn't make the tanks, but this one's all mine.
But no, you have to do the classic enemy versus doppelganger
I'd never
version of
guessed.
Right.
Let's hope it's sturdier than it looks, or this'll be a quick fight.
What?
Prepare to be defeated! Come closer, if you dare!
Oh my god, I pushed the R stick.
Prepare
Why didn't
to
you
be
go
defeated.
to the R?
Take that!
What?
Victory is mine!
Holy shit.
Prepare to be
Alright.
defeated!
I wish they had health bars for him.
Interesting. Yeah. I think that he basically just kind of a one shot though. Like as soon as you get up close to him and hit him, I think he's done.
You think I'm beat? Think again! Get ready to run!
So I really don't think there is like even
No, but like he's What? He wasn't close enough to that? What the shit?
this is ridiculous.
Is that the best you got? Get ready to run!
Oh my goodness. Oh, I can pick those up and throw them. Ah! Wow.
Prepare to
Oh
be
my god, are you
defeated.
kidding? That's annoying.
It blew up on you?
No. Having to go back to the very beginning of the fight. Like, I already beat this part. I don't want to do this again.
Yeah, you don't have the yellow anymore.
Nope.
You know, and I know the game is trying to give you like a sense of, you know, you feel rewarded for accomplishing it, but it's like, you're right, it's
You
really no
think I'm beat? Think again! Ha-ha! Get ready to run!
So what I did is I saved my two for final boss.
Dodge
Yeah.
this!
Because if I did the triangle version, it just knocks me twice so I wanted to throw the
Yeah.
shit back again. That's the only way that I was able to do it because I couldn't get it fast enough. It was
Right.
all around the mic. I can't even.
Is that the best you got?
Now it's telling me to pick them up. It's like, here, this is how you... Oh my goodness.
Take that! Ha-ha! You want power? I'll show you power! You're big, but weak.
Time to finish this.
That was close.
Yeah, that's good.
That was close. Oh my gosh. You did it.
I did it, man.
You did
That's
the
better.
thing. I don't know if it's popped yet. Hasn't
It
popped
hasn't.
yet, has it?
No.
No, well. Spoilers, you did the thing.
I did the
is
thing.
restored.
And hey, you know
Time to
what?
get
Let's
back
just
to
shrink
more
back down to
important
normal
matters.
size because
Yeah, why?
Raisins?
Yeah, there's literally no reason for
You
that.
drove us from our cities and into the wilderness. Were we supposed to just stay there forever?
So you leave
Typical
the
goblin,
blonde-haired
always living
guy
in the past.
here, and you go
Let's
off on
not
a different part of the
rehash who
mission.
attacked
And
whose
then
city first.
6 chapters later,
Now,
you follow up with
where did
him,
the weapons
and
come
it's like
from?
for 6 chapters he hasn't moved from this spot, and it's really
Really?
funny.
Where
'Cause
can
it's
we
like,
find
wait,
this
has he just been standing
Gundam?
here for 6 chapters?
Not safe.
Jeez.
He's scary. But Kandahar is terror.
Ryder, any thoughts?
And if I know goblins, and I do, he won't like being in such a small space. Let's give him some time. I think he'll tell us everything we want to know.
Well, he did say, let's give him some time.
Victor!
So maybe he's just waiting for the guy to tell him everything.
I don't know. Bad justification.
Come
Yeah.
pay me a
Yeah,
visit
I know.
at my home, Doctor.
Meanwhile, Clank
Until
has
then.
taken our boy.
I'll stay here with the chief and see what he has to say. You go. Get
He
my
did
nephew
just say,
back.
I'll stay here with the chief and see what he has to say.
There's 6 chapters.
Yeah. There it is. There's the trophy. Finally.
Finally, Chief James badge. Well, you have done the thing. Let's talk a little bit about your feelings on this game.
Okay.
I really want to know what you would rate this out of 100, but here's how we're
Welcome,
going to do
Doctor.
this.
It's a pleasure to have
I
you
want to
here.
know
Please
if
come
you're
this
going to
way.
beat the
Victor's
Metacritic
expecting
rating,
you.
and I think that we're doing it so that I have to guess if you're going to beat it. Is that
Hard
right?
to
Or you
believe
guess?
this is what destroyed 20 of our toughest
No, I guess.
robots.
Believe it, Katrina.
Okay,
He's
so you
quite
guess. Are you going to
dangerous.
beat the Metacritic
Victor.
rating on this?
Why did you kidnap
No.
my assistant?
Doctor, don't be so melodramatic. I merely took him for
Wait,
a ride in my
Jennifer Hale was one of the
I needed
voices
your
in
full
this game?
attention, and I didn't think I'd
Yes.
be getting it out there in the woods.
What about our mission? We
Yeah,
were
she
supposed
played
to help
Katrina,
those poor
the
people.
evil
To find out where the
villain
goblins were
side.
coming
Yeah.
from and prevent them from ever attacking us again.
I was a volunteer.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you
I put in
the
my
top
time. If you care
Metacritic
so
rating
much,
and the
Why
bottom.
don't you track down
Okay.
the rest of the goblins yourself and finish them
Armchair
off?
Empire says,
Point of fact, I've been
problems
working on
aside,
something much
I still had a lot of fun
interesting.
playing the game. If you love Ratchet and Clank or the early Jack and Daxter games, you will feel right at home here.
Yes. It's
On the
true.
low end, CD action.
A single relic.
An
weighing
awfully
more than a
boring,
ton.
repetitive, and
Such a thing
uninspired
should not be
game that does
possible, of
absolutely
course. Yet
nothing
here
to
it
show
is before
PS4's
us.
capabilities,
Where did you
but a
find it?
lot to ruin your day.
I have dozens like this. We are on the verge of the
Very
next
different
step of
ends
human
of that
evolution.
spectrum, and
The power of
while I
these giant
understand
relics
the
will
Ratchet
be
and
the
Clank
engine
reference that the
that
high
drives
end gave it from Armchair
But to take
Empire,
that next
I
step,
felt like to say, if you like
need
this,
Knack.
you'll love this,
Knack.
is an odd sentiment, because
What's
like,
he got to do
if
with
you like
this?
something
Knack
and you
is
like
the
a
key.
pale imitation of it,
Which is
you'll
to
like
say,
that
I need
too.
your pet. And I need him to be cooperative.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No getting
okay,
huge
so
and
what is
nasty.
your
No
rating?
smashing everything in
I
sight.
give this game.
What is he doing?
I give this game a 30.
30. Wow, and congratulations, you went lower. You beat the low end. The CD Action gave it a 25.
Yeah.
Armchair Empire gave it an 85, but the average was a 54. So you went lower.
Yeah.
You know, Knack 2 got a 69, so there was an improvement there.
That's good.
And most people agree that Knack 2 was better, but the art style is the same, the plot
Yeah.
elements are the same, so it's hard to improve from a really shaky balance, a shaky foundation.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like
Um,
that's those are the reasons that I gave it the low score. The art style. The
Yeah.
and the the plot and the whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. Here's the part where you kill his guards, his people. No one makes a comment about it.
Oh, you kill human.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you've been playing for 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Howlongtobeat.com, which polls to see how long it takes to beat games at different levels. They say that the main story takes 10 and a half hours to complete.
Okay.
If you wanted to do all of the extras, it takes 11 and a half hours.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted to do a completionist run, you're looking at 37 and a half hours.
Okay.
You compare that to Knack 2, which is 11, 13, and 16 and a half respectively. And we're looking at a shorter story on the first game, but a much longer padding for all the extra collecting all the treasures.
Right.
And with the already mentioned 35.59 gigabytes and a price point normally of $19.99. What do you think? Is it worth the download?
I can't imagine why this game is 35 gigabytes. Like, I don't understand it. No, this game is not worth the download. Put it in your library, and if you've played every other game that you've ever owned, sure, give it a go.
Wow. You wouldn't say this is the worst game we've played, would you?
No, I wouldn't say it's the worst, but it's... I mean, in terms of, like... It's the most boring.
Yeah.
I feel like, because it's just the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, and especially when you die and you have to redo a couple of rooms,
Yeah.
that can be...
Yeah.
I will give it a caveat, and I would say, if you have a second person to play locally with you, give it a try.
Okay.
It's probably a lot more fun commenting about the game and how it's not good.
Yeah.
It's almost like MT3SKing it, but also
Right.
it's probably going to be more fun and less frustrating playing with another person.
Is there two... Is the other person a second Knack character, or...
Yeah, second act.
Okay.
Yeah. And they do the split, they don't split screen, you just are both on the screen at the same
Right.
time. They don't do any of that, like,
I don't...
Lego split screening.
You know, it would have been interesting if they had made the second person whoever you're escorting through the mission.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, you are escorting a
That would've made a
person
lot
through
of
the
sense.
mission, and
Yeah.
that person could have whatever, you know, helpful ability or whatever. Because clearly they're not going to have knack abilities, but they're going to have, like, somebody probably has a gun, or, like, can punch a dude, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you can nerf them a little, but have them be helpful. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Especially because in the cutscenes, when you do the co-op, they don't even exist. The second
Right,
act
the
doesn't
second
exist.
knack,
So.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we're really negative, but I feel like, you know, there's so many reasons why this game was not good. So many of it was story,
Yeah.
but also a lot of it was gameplay. Gameplay
Yeah.
was just not that engaging. I'm looking at my notes, and there's only one other thing that I didn't bring up, which I really feel I need to. I try and take a look at TV tropes whenever I look at any of these things, just to
Okay.
see if there's anything obvious that I missed. And one of the things that they brought up is that this game hits the trope of monogender monsters, which means
Oh, yeah.
in the game you never see a female goblin. It is only men the entire game.
Yeah. It's interesting.
That's why we're killing them, because the goblins are so fiercely into the patriarchy. So now you can feel much
But then
better
how are
that
there
you're
so
actually-
many of them? Like, are the women just like, are the women just like back at home, like rearing the children? Is that like...
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think that you would see, because you did destroy like their entire civilization in the last level. You'd think that you would like see at least a woman or two, even if they were just running away.
You know, I think the reason really is the patriarchy. I think, for real, not even joking. I really think that they felt like, well, we can't have Knack hit a woman, even if it's a woman goblin, so there just won't be women. I really think that that's the whole thing. Even when you do fight Katrina later on, you fight her in a mech, and Katrina doesn't go down like Victor does. And it's very, you can tell it's very like, oh, we have to protect the women and save the women. It's very frustrating. It feels like this sort of old mentality that is shoved into this game as well. It just feels so dumb.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. Yeah, I guess that's it. I guess that's our review of Knack.
Yeah.
Sorry it was a long one. Sorry it was a bit frustrating.
No, it wasn't that long. We've done longer, but yeah, it wasn't so frustrating. It's just kind of boring.
Well, the good news is you can free up 40 gigs on your PlayStation.
Yeah, I can free up all this space, man. It's probably still downloading.
So Lauren, if you wanted to follow us in the gaming world, how would you do that?
Well, I would go to the PlayStation Network and I would look up Caustic Sofa to follow me.
Oh, interesting.
And what
You
about
can do the same for me. You can look up on PlayStation Network, and you can look up Paradox. But anything else?
I don't know. Anything else? Nope. I think
Just wanted to know if you had any final thoughts.
No. Just tune in this coming Thursday, which I believe is the 15th, and
Yes.
we'll be playing one of the other free games for February, Rhyme.
Rhyme, yes. Yeah, tune in. That should be a lot of fun. Spoiler is a little bit more fun than this one.
Oh, I mean, is that really a spoiler? Does that really spoil things?
It was statistically very likely to happen.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, we will see you on Thursday.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.